The starship Eclipse drifted silently through the void, its sleek, obsidian hull reflecting the faint light of a distant sun. Inside, the air was thick with tension. Lord Anar, the ruthless ruler of the Krylos dominion, stood in the command center, his 4 arms crossed over his chest. His crimson eyes glowed with a cold, calculating light as he stared at the holographic image of a small, blue-green planet, Earth. "Prepare the shuttle," he ordered, his voice a deep, guttural growl. "We leave the child here." The crew hesitated, exchanging uneasy glances. One of them, a young officer named Lyra, stepped forward. "My lord, are you certain? She is your blood, your heir." Zanar's eyes narrowed. "She is weak. Her human DNA has tainted her. She will never be worthy of the Krylos throne. Leave her on this primitive world. Let the humans deal with her." The shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere, its engines humming softly. Inside, a small cradle held a sleeping infant with pale lavender skin and tiny, nub-like horns on her forehead. Her name was Lyra, though she would never know it. The shuttle touched down in a dense forest, and the crew quickly deposited the cradle on the ground. Without a second glance, they returned to the shuttle and ascended back into the stars. Years passed, and the forest grew thick and wild. The cradle, long since overgrown with vines, was discovered by a man named Jack Harper. He was a former soldier, now a recluse living in a cabin deep in the woods. Jack had come to the forest to escape the memories of war, but he found something far more unexpected. "What the hell?" he muttered, brushing away the vines to reveal the child inside. She was small, no more than 3 years old, with wide, curious eyes that glowed faintly in the dim light. Her lavender skin and tiny horns marked her as anything but human, but she looked up at him with a mixture of fear and hope. Jack hesitated. He had no idea what to do with an alien child, but he couldn't just leave her there. With a sigh, he picked her up and carried her back to his cabin. Jack named her Lyra, after the constellation he often saw in the night sky. He had no idea of her true origins, but he quickly realized that she was no ordinary child. She was stronger, faster, and more resilient than any human. Her mind was sharp, and she learned quickly. Jack taught her everything he knew: how to hunt, how to fight, how to survive. As the years went by, Lyra grew into a fierce and capable young woman. She had inherited her father's strength and her mother's intelligence, but it was Jack who shaped her into the person she became. He taught her the value of compassion, of standing up for those who couldn't defend themselves. He taught her that strength wasn't just about power, but about using that power to protect others. But Lyra always knew she was different. She could feel it in her bones, in the way her body moved with a grace and speed that no human could match. She could see in the dark, hear the faintest sounds, and sense things that others couldn't. She knew she wasn't human, but she didn't know what she was. One day, when Lyra was 16, a ship appeared in the sky. It was sleek and black, with the same obsidian hull as the shuttle that had brought her to Earth. Jack and Lyra watched from the cabin as the ship descended, its engines roaring like thunder. "Stay here," Jack said, his voice tense. He grabbed his rifle and stepped outside, his eyes fixed on the ship. The hatch opened, and a group of Krylos soldiers stepped out. They were tall and imposing, their crimson eyes glowing in the dim light. At their head was Vera, the young officer who had questioned Unar's decision all those years ago. "Where's the child?" Vera demanded, her voice cold and commanding. Jack raised his rifle. "You're not taking her." Vera's eyes narrowed. "She does not belong here, human. She is the daughter of Lord Anar, heir to the Krylos dominion. She belongs with us." Jack's grip tightened on the rifle. "She belongs with me. I raised her. I taught her. She's my daughter. Vera hesitated, her eyes flickering with uncertainty. She had always doubted Denar's decision to abandon Lyra, and now, seeing the bond between the human and the child, she felt a pang of guilt. But she had her orders. "Take her," she said, gesturing to the soldiers. The soldiers moved forward, but before they could reach the cabin, Lyra stepped out. She was no longer the small, helpless child they had left behind. She was tall and strong, her lavender skin glowing in the sunlight. Her eyes burned with a fierce determination. "I'm not going with you," she said, her voice steady and strong. Vera's eyes widened in surprise. "You do not understand, child. You are Krylos. You belong with us." Lyra shook her head. "I belong here. With him." She gestured to Jack, who stood by her side, his rifle still raised. Vera hesitated, torn between her duty and her conscience. She had always believed that Lyra deserved a chance, and now, seeing the young woman she had become, she knew that Zawyan had been wrong. "Very well," she said finally. "But know this, Lyra, your father will not stop. He will come for you. And when he does, you must be ready." Lyra nodded. "I will be." The years passed, and Lyra continued to grow stronger. She trained tirelessly, honing her skills and preparing for the day when her father would come. Jack grew older, his hair turning gray, but his spirit remained strong. He was proud of the woman Lyra had become, and he knew that she would face whatever challenges lay ahead with courage and determination. That day came sooner than they expected. The sky darkened as a massive Krylos warship descended, its shadow covering the forest. Zawyan himself stepped out, his crimson eyes blazing with fury. "Lyra," he roared, his voice echoing through the trees. "You will come with me, or I will destroy this world." Lyra stepped forward, her eyes meeting his. "I am not afraid of you," she said, her voice calm and steady. "You abandoned me. You left me to die. But I survived, and I will not let you hurt the people I love." Zawyan's eyes narrowed. "You are weak, just like your mother. You will never be worthy of the Krylos throne." Lyra's eyes burned with determination. "I don't want a throne. I want to protect this world. And I will fight you with everything I have." The battle was fierce. Zawyan was powerful, his strength unmatched, but Lyra was fast and agile. She used her speed and intelligence to outmaneuver him, striking with precision and skill. Jack fought by her side, his rifle blazing as he took down Krylos soldiers. In the end, it was Lyra who delivered the final blow. With a powerful strike, she knocked Zawyan to the ground, her eyes blazing with determination. "You are not my father," she said, her voice cold and steady. "You are nothing to me." Zawyan's eyes widened in shock as Lyra raised her hand, a glowing energy blade forming in her palm. With a swift motion, she struck, ending his life. The Krylos soldiers retreated, their leader defeated. Lyra stood tall, her chest heaving as she looked down at the body of the man who had abandoned her. She felt no sadness, no regret. She had done what she had to do. Jack stepped forward, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You did it, Lyra. You saved us." Lyra turned to him, her eyes softening. "I couldn't have done it without you, Dad." Jack smiled, his eyes filled with pride. "You're a hero, Lyra, and I couldn't be prouder."